Okay, so the Intellect build, I really like the Intellect build as I've said before, so I have been looking forward for this, and I've gone ahead and prepared because this turned out to become a pretty long video. And here you see my main Twink Yubnubbs, which stands next to me, and I basically got the same gear as on Yubnubbs. Pretty much the same, just a few armor difference, and that's Gorefang, by the way. Could really get him to really like Gorefang. Yeah, so let's keep on with the gear here, and it's a hard set to build. It's actually really hard. You will have to spend a lot of time if you want to farm for it, or a lot of gold if you manage to find the pieces and someone who has them for sale. But I've kind of picked out some pieces that I want to show, and what I'm using and what would be a possible upgrade. But let's start with the build. It's really simple. I got 2 in Hawkeye, I got 5 for 5% in lethal shots for 5% more critical strikes, and the core of this build, Careful Aim, which converts all our intellect into attack power. And that is what we are basing this on, but that doesn't mean that we will go only with intellect. It's not, you won't do good if you go full out on intellect. Instead we will have to mix in raw attack power and agility to kind of balance out our stats. If a raw attack power piece would give you more than an intellect piece, then use the attack power piece. If an agility piece would give you more than you would get out of your intellect piece, then use the agility piece. But I try to stay above 1400 in mana, because that's about the same as many healers have, so I can basically DPS as much as a healer can heal, and that's very useful against paladins especially, because in a fight with a paladin, in a 1 versus 1 fight, the paladin usually win because he out-heal your damage until you run out of mana. And when you're out of mana, he will beat you. So usually he beat your pet first and then you. But with this build you can kinda keep your pet away from the paladin and just keep DPSing him until he dies, and you will see that this build does a lot better against classes that can heal, and a bit worse in melee, because we don't hit as hard with a one-hander as we do with a two-hander. You might get beaten by hunters with two-handers, but still I prefer this spec a lot above the other ones, and it does deal a lot of damage. So let's take a look on what I got equipped here fast. I got Lucky Fishing Hat, and this is easier than a few other pieces in this set. So if you're going for an intellect build, just get the hat, don't bother with any of the other stuff, because it's actually pretty easy to get compared to some other pieces, as I just said. Scout's Medallion, of course, it's 6 agility and 2 stamina. Stage Shadowcraft Spaulders for the hit rating. I know that the other ones, the Herod's Shoulders, does more damage and more intellect and stuff like that, but we still need hit rating, so that's why I use Stage Shadowcraft Spaulders. Tumultuous Cloak of the Bandit with 3 agility on it, and Champion Death Dealer Breastplate. You can see that I've switched the 100 health for 4 all stats, and the reason for that is because 4 all stats gives Spirit, Stamina, Intellect, Agility, what's the last one? Strength? Yeah, it gives those 5 stats, but we gain 8 attack power from the 4 agility and 4 intellect, and then we get 40 hit points, which is just 60 hit points. It's pretty much, but it's not 0 hit points. We do get 40 health out of it. And I got my nice shirt. I did take Wrangler's wristbands of Intellect. This is not necessarily the best braces, but I decided in the end that I would want to stay above 1400 in mana, and that made me take these instead of a few other choices that we are going to have a look at soon. Gloves of the Falcon, Rigid, Bandit or Scouting. It's 3 armor or something different. It doesn't matter which one you take on, as long as they have 4 agility and 4 intellect, and that is hard to find, really hard. This will probably be the hardest piece for you to get, and if you manage to find someone or have them for sale, you will probably have to pay up a good sum for them. But they are great, and if you do find 4 agility and 3 intellect, or 3 agility and 4 intellect, then take those. Put 15 agility on them and use them until you can upgrade. They are still good. So we have 15 agility, which is pretty much the only glove enchant we can use. Haste doesn't really give that much at level 19. Screecher's belt is by far the best belt for an intellect build. It's 3 stamina, 5 intellect and 12 attack power, which becomes 30 health, 75 mana and 17 ranged attack power. And if you compare that to the highest attack power belt, which is the Defias belt, it's 18 attack power. This is just 1 attack power less, but you get a lot of stats. This is from a quest. I will show how to get it in a later episode, just not right now. If you really need it now, look it up on Wowhead or Google, basically. It's easy, but it takes a while, so I won't put it in this episode. Then I got Scouting Trousers of Power, and that's 16 attack power. As you can see, it's no intellect on the legs there, but these are hard to get. Some people have more trouble than others. I have a few, but yeah, I like this a lot. These are pretty much good in any set. You can basically mix in some attack power there to up damage, except for the stamina set, not really good there. But in the intellect build, attack power really mixes in good to up damage when you have reached the kind of base stats you want. I'm still using Footpads of the Fang with 7 agility on, which I did in the first gear episode, which was the agility set. It's the same boat, and that is because of the stamina. 6 agility and 6 stamina is great. We are not getting any set bonus, and we won't have use for any set bonus. But the boats are still great. I will show another pair of boats as well in a while here. As far as rings, I am using the Red Pirate ring. That's because of the 5 crit rating, which is 1.5% crit roughly. The roughly 1% hit, which comes from 2 hit rating, is mainly why I used it. But you also get 30 health, which is great. I can't find a replacement for this ring, but I will show another ring, but I haven't found a better ring for this set. Then I'm using Lavishly Jeweled Ring, and that is 6 intellect and 2 hit rating, which is 90 mana, 6 ranged attack power and 0.95% hit. I'm also using Inherited Insignia of the Horde and Arena Grandmaster, and I do have another Arena Grandmaster to switch with when I feel that I need to. As weapons, we are not using the stuff, we are using one-hander and the Furball bag, but in this set I'm using Cruel Barb because the really high attack power, it's very high up, and I put 22 intellect on it because it becomes 330 mana and total of 34 attack power. That's pretty much for a one-hander to get out 34 attack power. The Furball bag adds 10 stamina and a heal, which is very useful. Even though it have a long cooldown, you can pretty much use it one time each game, and it's great. Upgraded Dwarven Hand Cannon is my preferred choice in this set. You can use Venom Strike, but I liked a little bit of... This deals more minimum and maximum damage, even though Venom Strike does more damage overall because of the proc. But this is more stable, and that's why I use this with crafted heavy shot, which is done by engineers. And you can use Venom Strike, it's no problem with that. If you want to go with Venom Strike, do so. But I prefer to get the the more stable damage. As you can see, we got 113 to 140 damage there, which is minimum and maximum damage on auto attacks. But we do have with Hawk. Let's check what we have without Hawk. 293 attack power without Hawk, and we are getting 85 attack power from our Intellect, which is a lot. And with Hawk we do have 328 attack power. We have 8 hit rating, which isn't really high, but it's close to 4%, where 5% is the cap, I believe. We almost have 20% crit. I do think that it in this case is counting in our 5% crit from our talents, but I'm not sure. But I do feel that this is a little bit much crit rating if it wasn't counting them. If we use a wolf really helps out on this set. It's orc overall earn a lot on the wolf, where if you were a blood elf as example, you wouldn't really get as much out of a wolf. But I'll give you a look on how much attack power we get if we use both Fury's Howl and Blood Fury at the same time. 449 attack power, almost 450 attack power, and we can probably get that a little bit up, but I think this is fine. This is a great burst attack there that you get during those 15 seconds. And the Wolf's Furious Howl is actually 20 seconds with a 40-second cooldown, so it's actually just 20-second downtime on the 43 extra attack power. We can pretty much use that at once now. It's not that long left on the Wolf's cooldown. There you go. You can basically just use the Wolf's Howl each fight, and each second fight use the Blood Fury. It's great. There are some pieces to that we can switch out. We could use Meadow Ring over the Falcon, but I don't know what I want to switch out, because I get 2 hit rating and the same amount of attack power but more mana out of Lovish Jeweled Ring. And I really don't want to switch out Red Pirate Ring, so I haven't found a replacement, even though this is a good ring. As far as bracers go, I did go with Wrangler's Wristbands of Intellect for the most intellect, but you could go with Wrangler's Wristbands of Power, which is also a very hard piece to get, and put 7 intellect on it to get 17 attack power. That would be an upgrade. And you can tweak your gear a little bit there to min-max as you wish. This would be an upgrade if you feel that you have enough intellect already. Then we got Wrangler's Wristbands of the Falcon. I really want the 3-3 bracers, but I couldn't find them. I would use those if I found them. I actually think that these might be better than the ones I got on now, the intellect bracers, but I decided to go with a full intellect. But these are great. It's a little bit more crit and dodge, but still the same attack power, so you could use those. And if you find the 3-3 one and don't want to sell them to me, use them. Wrangler's Wristbands of the Eagle. Those are probably more preferred by druids. then, and healers overall, but if you do feel that you need a little bit extra stamina, then you can use these and go down a little bit in intellect. In this case I would be trading 30 health for 30 mana for 30 health, and that would put me below 1400, and I feel that 1400 is, I want to be above 1400 mana. That's my kind of goal there. I want to get to 1200 hit points and 1400 mana. That's my goal, and I'm having a little bit of a problems tweaking there, but I'll get there, I hope. So that's the bracers that I can think on that you can actually have any use on. There are also 8 attack power bracers that you can get pretty cheap, that would also be pretty good. As boots, I do have the scouting boots of the Falcon, but I'm not gonna use those on this one. Instead I'm gonna head and put 7 agility on the Pagan shoes of the Falcon, which is cloth. And you can switch in a cloth piece. You can even use the Mind Thrust bracers, which gives -5 stamina but +9 intellect. That's pretty much intellect you get out of that. And I forgot to bring those. I do have them in the bank. You can use them, but you will lose stamina. 50 health is pretty much. But you can mix in cloth pieces. Just don't mix in too much cloth, because then you will be as squishy, as it was called once upon a time. I'm not sure if it's called that any longer, but you will take a lot of damage when someone hit you. But one piece, it's fine. I'm not gonna use these. I will just use them to show stats. We also got another offhand when you have the Furbolg on cooldown. Then you could go with the Ritual Stain of the Falcon for an additional 6 attack power, a bit below 0.5% crit and 0.5% dodge, and 45 mana. It's a great offhand, but you do lose out on 100 health. If you feel that you got enough health and can switch out, then you would gain on using the Ritual Stain of the Falcon. As second legs, we do have Scouting Trousers of Falcon. They are on par with the Scouting Trousers of Power. They have 6 less attack power, but look what you gain. You gain 75 mana and 0.5% crit. So it's up to you. If you use this, maybe you can use the Wrangler's Wristbands of Power, or something else, some other pieces. I can't really think of anything. Maybe you can go with this one and gain a little bit of stamina instead. And you can tweak it. You can tweak how you want. If we go with the Pagan shows as well, we get 1558 mana, which is a lot. That's more than I feel that I need, but we do have 324 attack power. We will have more with Scouting Trousers of the Falcon though. And a little bit less with, yeah, you can see that you can tweak around how you want. Do you want over 20% crit, or is it fine with a little bit less but a little bit more attack power? It's a hard set to build. Most of these pieces are really hard. These are really hard to get. Also, the Scouting Trousers of the Falcon is really hard to get. And these are hard, the power is hard to get. The gloves is really hard to get. It's a very hard set to get. Even the Furbolg bag is easy to get compared to the legs and the gloves. And the Lucky Fishing Hat is pretty easy because all you have to do is fish. But it's hard. You have to prepare that you will have to spend a lot of time and probably a lot of gold to build this set. And yeah, I think that's it actually about this set. I don't think I missed anything. The reason why I stand here in this video is because it's like over there, it's an army of little panda pets that scream karate noises and enchanters and everything, so I decided to record is where it was a little bit calmer, and this video still became over 20 minutes. I can see it's still it's still a bit shorter than the last one. As far as glyphs, I don't remember if I went through that. I'm still using Glyph of Raptor Strike for survivability and Glyph of Scare Beast. Very simple. I'm using those in all talent builds. But that's it for now. The next time we might check out the attack power gear that I've been collecting. I don't have all the pieces, I can't build a set and show. But I can talk a bit about it if you're interested in that. But until then, thank you for watching and see you next time.
I need to get closer.